Hey everyone, welcome to Ultra Healers. My name is Baljit, and on this channel I talk about balancing the mind, the body, and subtle energies. Today I want to talk about anxiety. But before I begin, I wanted to let you guys know that it's been a while since I've created a video because I've been in the process of moving and resettling in a new place. So hopefully I will be posting more regularly now. But in the meantime, thanks for being patient. So again, welcome to Ultra Healers. Today I'm going to be talking about anxiety, things that can cause anxiety, and ways that you can actually heal naturally from anxiety or minimize it to the maximum level that you can possibly imagine without any medication. I've suffered with a lot of anxiety in my life, and that's why I'm making this video about anxiety, ways that you can combat anxiety naturally, where it comes from, and things that you can do to kind of get a grasp of it. So this is all stuff from my experiences and my opinion. Some stuff is researched, but most of it is from my experiences. So we have a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. You can think of it as like the parasympathetic nervous system is the relaxing part of the body, and the sympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight response. You don't want these to be out of whack. When you have the sympathetic nervous system that's constantly stimulated, like from caffeine, from worry, from stressful situations, from trauma, it tends to turn that into anxiety, and we want to combat that by doing more peaceful, relaxing things to our body through ways of, meditation, yoga, exercise, putting more calming foods in our body, and having more positive, calming thoughts. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Now, it also has to do with your stress hormones, or just your hormones in general. The stress hormone is cortisol. So when your hormones are out of whack, like testosterone or estrogen, that can also create anxiety in the body. And when you are feeling that fight or flight response from anything, from even a strenuous workout, if you're putting too much stress on the body with ingesting junk or uppers like caffeine, too much alcohol, just things that the body doesn't want, it will release cortisol. And when it releases cortisol, it can lead to a lot of anxious feelings. On the severe side, it can lead to shortness of breath, which I've actually experienced a lot of. I've experienced a lot of shortness of breath from anxiety, because I was constantly activating my sympathetic nervous system. But over the past few months, I've been doing a lot to combat that by doing meditation and just focusing on activating the parasympathetic nervous system naturally. Stressful situations like work, family, financial situations, or even someone's health or kids can cause anxiety. Constantly, if something's not going the way it should be, that can result in a negative circumstance in your mind, will definitely cause anxious thoughts and anxiety, especially when it's being done over and over and over again. Your environment is very, very important. If you're in an environment that's unhealthy, like you're living next to power lines. That was me for 6 months. I was living close to power lines, and I tested it with an EMF meter, and it was high levels of radiation, and that can also cause anxiety in the body. Pollution, inhaling all kinds of smog and polluted air can also have an effect on the brain and cause anxiety. Your environment can also be related to the people around you. If there's always negative people around you, that can definitely trigger anxious thoughts and feelings. Try to find an environment that's, relaxing and is safe. Safe in all kinds of different ways. Safe from a health perspective, safe from a people perspective, and just safe overall from a radiation, electromagnetic radiation, pollution, that kind of stuff. Just being a healthy nature, and nature is really good too. If you can get out in nature, that's a really good thing to do for the body, for your environment. Bring plants inside the house. Allow the plants to release some oxygen, and just if you do some natural things like go into a lake sometime, or walk barefoot on the beach or on the grass. These kinds of things that help ground us, and they help actually minimize anxiety. So a lot of anxiety is actually caused from the subconscious mind because of trauma and memories, and that results in certain triggers that can happen. If I had a traumatic experience, I don't want to relive that traumatic experience, because if I do relive that traumatic experience, it will trigger that subconscious memory, and then it will result in an anxiety attack. However, to combat that, you can actually slowly put yourself in situations that could be very anxious or very triggering, but just slowly, like step by step. And over time, you can get used to getting back into the swing of things. It takes time to do that. Patience is virtue, so it takes time to do that. If there's something very severe that causes anxiety, you can just kind of step into it. For example, if you have social anxiety and you fear going to people's houses for a party, and they invite you over for a party, instead of saying no, you could just take your own car and make sure that you just say hello and then leave. That could be the first step of combating social anxiety, for example. There's all kinds of different anxious situations. For another example is, there was a time, and it still kind of occurs, but I'm getting a grasp of it, where my anxiety got so bad that certain smells of like chemicals, household chemicals, or even like gasoline at a gas station would cause me to get shortness of breath. But over time, I started making myself feel more relaxed by getting, products that are natural and being able to smell those, even though they have some chemicals in them. All natural things, not all natural things, but some natural things have chemicals in them as well. But I would basically train myself over time, and instead of getting into this anxiety loop, where every time you approach that anxious situation, it causes you to have a panic attack, you can step into it a little bit. So I would smell certain smells that cause anxiety, and then just convince my mind that it's not gonna cause anxiety again. Now, I'm not talking about like gasoline. Gasoline, I don't like the smell of it anyways. But if it's a certain perfume or something like that, I would step into it and know that everything's going to be fine. It's just a state of mind that I have to train to get back to the swing of things. There are certain things that, began to cause anxiety for me that were never causing anxiety in the past, but it was because of trauma that anxiety developed, And a lot of times it's really good to don't overthink things. When you're thinking too much and you're constantly thinking about the negatives, it's going to constantly trigger those anxiety attacks to occur. If you want to heal from anxiety in a really fast way, without medicine, because I don't recommend taking medicine at all. Doctors tried prescribing me medicine, and I tried taking it for like a couple of days, and that made my anxiety 10 times worse. So I wanted to do it all naturally, and one way to do that is I completely eliminated alcohol out of my life. And it's been about 4 months and I haven't drank a sip of alcohol. I tried eliminating caffeine as well. So I eliminated caffeine for about a month, and then I kind of slowly brought it back. So caffeine was a huge trigger for my anxiety. Every time I would drink coffee, and it wasn't all the time actually, I was able to drink coffee normally, but then once these panic attacks started happening, and a lot of them started happening recently actually, but the pandemic made it kind of worse. It was still happening from before the pandemic, but not as often, and it started happening a lot because it got built up, like the trauma got built up in my mind, the fight and flight response got built up from all these, like, drinking alcohol, drinking coffee, drinking tea, and not working out enough. But I was able to turn that around. So as far as the alcohol goes, I haven't drank in quite some time, and as far as the caffeine goes, I stopped drinking caffeine for a little while, and then I just brought it in here and there, just to drink like tea once in a while, and that seems to have a good effect on the triggers. It makes me feel like I have control over certain amounts of things. So if you can avoid caffeine, avoid alcohol, avoid substances, and then you can actually use certain techniques to actually bring your neurotransmitters into balance, like your serotonin, your Gaba, your glutamate, your Oxytocin, Norepinephrine, and Acetylcholine, and your endorphins. Endorphins are released when we exercise, and all of these neurotransmitters, they should be balanced in the brain. Once they're balanced in the brain, your body has a really, really easy way of basically managing emotional intelligence, because these are all emotions, and when your neurotransmitters are out of whack, then your body has a hard time adjusting to certain situations, and that can cause a lot of anxiety and trauma. And which it goes into a loop. So you get trauma, and then you get anxiety, and then you get another traumatic experience from a panic attack, and then you get even more anxiety, and you get another traumatic experience from a panic attack. It just keeps going until you can get yourself into that natural, relaxing state, and then activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Don't allow the sympathetic nervous system to take over. I've been following Dr. Joe Dispenze and Bruce Lipton for some time now, and the main thing that I've gotten from their lectures and their videos, I've actually met Dr. Bruce Lipton at the International Yoga Festival in India and had a conversation with him, and it was really amazing. And he was talking about how pharmaceuticals and medication is actually killing people, and everybody can heal naturally. And then both of these guys, they believe that it's the belief that really can make you heal. That's the starting point. So you want to heal your anxiety, your panic attacks, panic disorder, traumas. The first thing to do is believe that you can heal. If you don't believe that you can heal, it makes it 10 times harder to actually heal. And then going back to the medication, I really am against the medication. I mean, there are certain areas where medication can be, useful in acute situations, really drastic situations. But I can't recommend medication because I'm not a doctor. But even from a healing perspective, I don't think anybody should take medication unless it's really, really, unless they can't live without it, because most of the things in this world we can heal naturally. There's a reason why certain kinds of things exist on this planet that are made from plants, and certain types of activities that we can do to basically turn around this pain of of disease and mental and physical diseases, and turn that around into a path of healing and a journey of bliss. It's really good to have a foundation, and to have a foundation of healing, you have to start from the root. Medications, they basically treat the symptoms, but healing naturally will actually dig down to the root and then kind of heal on its way up. So it takes a lot longer to heal naturally, but it's for a longer term. Whereas if you take medication, it's short term, and you heal, and then most likely your symptoms will come back, and then you have to take medication again. So it's like a loop that could be never ending. Along with all of this, it's really good to incorporate cardiovascular exercise and muscle training. So when you are doing cardiovascular exercise and muscle training, you're actually helping your body to eliminate toxins faster. You're improving your lung capacity and your oxygen intake. You're doing everything that your cells need to survive and fight disease and fight bacteria and viruses. You're also balancing out your lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system needs to be balanced at all times. That's why people put babies on rockers when they're kids. It's really good to have all of your juices mixed up and balanced in your body. Your neurotransmitters, your lymphatic system, your blood, your oxygen, all of that should be balanced in order for you to help reinforce your journey of healing anxiety. Another really important thing that should be implemented in this journey of healing yourself from anxiety and panic attacks is getting massages and going to the chiropractor. So getting massage will help decrease stress and increase serotonin and dopamine in your body. If you've ever noticed, when you get a massage, you get these like tingling feelings in your brain over and over, these tingling feelings. That actually helps release endorphins. Or when it happens over and over for the course of like half an hour or an hour, your body gets into a state of deep relaxation. And the chiropractic is really important because we have nerves running all the way down our spine, through our arms, to our organs, and down to our legs. So, and our spine is, if you know about the chakra systems, there's seven. The chakra system has 7 chakras in our body, and they're all, related to spinal strength. And that's because all of these nerves, they're giving information from the brain to our entire body. And when that information superhighway is clear of any obstruction and obstacles, then we can live a long, healthy life, and we can live a balanced and more stress-free life. So chiropractic and meditation is really important to decrease stress in the body. Along with that, make sure that you're getting healthy, nutritious food in your body all the time. These packaged foods, they don't have that much, nutrients. They don't have that many like amino acids, nutrients, and vital force of. They don't have vital force to keep your body going. The best way to do that is to eat, live foods like plants and vegetables and fruits, fresh juices, all your food doesn't have to be alive, but as raw as possible would be great, like beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits. I don't eat meat, so I can't speak for eating meat. I'm not against people who eat meat, but if you're gonna get protein somewhere, then make sure that it's lean protein. And then, junk food, will never help you heal. It's just going to worsen issues, raise cholesterol, raise blood pressure, create more stress in the body. So the healthier you eat, along with exercise, meditation, nutrition, chiropractic, all of that stuff, the faster you can actually heal your anxiety. Positive thinking and positive affirmations are really, really important, because when we're always thinking negatively, we're attracting negative experiences in our life. So even if even if we're thinking negatively, like, oh, I hope I don't get a speeding ticket, I hope I don't get a speeding ticket, you're actually inviting yourself to get a speeding ticket. So always it takes a while to reinforce these things in your mind, but over time you get better and better at it. Just like with running or with lifting weights, you get stronger over time. You can run further over time. Anything that you practice, you can get better at. So positive thinking and affirmations, if you can practice that for 5 minutes to however long you want a day, or write down positive affirmations every day. Grateful for this, grateful for that, maybe 5 things that you're grateful for every day. That can actually slowly train your mind to think positively and attract positive things in your life. So you can actually attract positive health and positive experiences to combat your anxiety. It helps convert negative anxiety loop into a positive foundation, basically. So lastly, patience is virtue. Patience is really important in this whole process. Without patience, people tend to relapse with any kinds of addiction. People tend to relapse in any kind of bad habit. People tend to not stick with it. And if you can just stick with it and have patience, eventually things will start getting better and better. So it won't happen overnight, but eventually things will turn around. So I just want to conclude with everything that I talked about, and basically anxiety can pile up over time with negative habits and trauma, but it's reversible. So don't worry, you can actually reverse all the damage that's been done to the body and the brain by just doing some of these techniques, or all of these techniques that I mentioned, and it will start reversing. You don't need medication to reverse all of that stuff. But again, this is not medical advice. If you think you need medication, just talk to a doctor first. I believe anxiety can be healed naturally, and that's what I'm doing for myself. I still get some anxiety here and there, but that's just, everybody gets some anxiety here and there. But the more you practice these on a daily basis, the less anxiety you will feel throughout the day, and the less panic attacks. Actually, panic attacks you can actually pretty much bring the panic attacks to zero by practicing these techniques. Cleanse the body with movement and nutrition. It's really important for your machinery to function the way the universe, the creator, intended for you to have this body functioning. When you were brought to this planet, you weren't brought here on an intent to create destruction and put destructive things in your body and create destructive habits and be negative all the time. And you were here to move along with the circadian rhythm. You were here to understand what daylight means, what nighttime means, what nutrition means, what exercising the body means, and how to give back to the world. Everybody is here for a purpose. And once we realize what our purpose is, then we tend to become a vessel for the grand design of the universe. So balance the brain chemicals with relaxation techniques, like I mentioned, massage, chiropractic, meditation, exercise, nutrition. I have an inversion table as well, so I'll stretch out my spine by inverting backwards and just elongate my spine. That helps a lot. I also have this thing called I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a swinger. It's kind of a weird name it's called a chi machine. Yeah. So I have a chi machine, and it kind of just swings back and forth. I rest my ankles on there, and it helps to balance out my lymphatic system, and it helps to put my brain into a relaxation state instead of go state, which is like beta brainwaves. It puts my brainwave state into like an alpha or a delta brainwave state, or a theta. Yeah, alpha or theta brainwave state. You can check out brainwaves by doing a Google search, and you can learn about the 5 different types of brainwaves that you have. It goes from an extreme, like the sympathetic, activating the sympathetic nervous system, to more of a, as you go further and further down, you get more into a parasympathetic state, which is like a relaxation state. And somewhere in the middle is where the meditative state for the brain is. Once you can get to that alpha state, you have a lot of control over emotions, you have good emotional intelligence, and you can balance out your life really well and avoid stressful situations and be more happy, more blissful. So lastly, I just want to say that have a strong belief system. Don't give up. Make sure that you know that you're going to be healed, and don't give up on that, because the number one thing we need to build our foundation is belief. We need to believe that we're going to be healed. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon for notifications so that you can be alerted whenever a video like this is being made. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm for me. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful healing journey. Bye-bye.